Welcome back to ESA Summer Online and our little vintage racing game blog. We are raising money for Alzheimer Fonden. Links to donate can be found below the stream, and we would also like to thank Kaspersky, Twitch and ViewSonic for sponsoring this event. Now it's time for Tiny Tim and Turbo Challenge. Lotus Esprit Turbo Challenge. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Agama. Hello there, folks. My name is TinyTim78, and I'm going to be running a little bit of vintage racing, as we said there. This is Lotus Turbo Esprit Challenge on the Amiga, or Lotus Esprit Turbo Challenge, got to get it right, on the Commodore Amiga. Came out about 1990, arcade-style racing game. I've also got Digital Duck with me, who's going to be doing some commentary as well. I'm just going to get straight into it. I'll give you a timer countdown. Time starts when we choose the music track. So I'll give you a brief intro to the game once we get started. So we are ready to go here, and we are starting in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so this is Lotus Esprit Turbo Challenge, as I say. It is a early 90s arcade racing game on the Commodore Amiga. The objective of the game, and why is my controller not working? That's a really, really good start. Right, okay. Yeah, can we stop the timer, please? My controller's not working. I know why. Can we stop the timer? And we'll just restart. I know exactly what I've done. I chose the wrong option there. There we go, look. I went for manual gears instead of computerized. What an idiot. Right, okay. Are we ready to go again?
We are.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go again in 3, 2, 1, go. Right, sorry about that. Abortive start there. Okay, so, as I say, Lotus Esprit Turbo Challenge. This is an arcade-style racing game. I am playing... Why is that not working again? This is so annoying because everything was working fine in practice. There we go. That's better. Right, okay. Can we get another restart? Sorry. Apologies. It works perfectly in practice, and then when you come to the main thing, it all goes wrong. It's typical. I'll just wait until tech are ready.
Yep. Just tell me when you're ready.
Yep, okay, we're ready to go again. I'll count down. In 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, third time's the charm. Let's get started this time. Okay, so as I say, Lotus Turbo Esprit Challenge. It is a racing game. A very arcade-style racing game. None of this proper racing game here. This is very arcade style. This is the easy difficulty. There are 7 tracks in this difficulty, and you have to finish in the top 10 in each race in order to progress to the next one. You earn points depending on where you finish, so you need to finish in the top 2 or 3 in most of the races to complete the category. So this is Italy, which is a very basic race, and I will let Duck have a quick word about how this works.
Yeah, so it's nice to see the car actually moving this time.
Yeah, it's good start, isn't it?
So the way the game controls is very typical of a game like this. You have your accelerator and your brake and your steering. It's if you've ever played anything like this or Outrun or in any game of that nature, you'll be instantly familiar with this. The only thing that's unique about this game, I guess, is the way the enemy cars move. So rather than sticking into one lane, they are going to bounce across the screen from left to right in a slightly unpredictable way.
Yeah, that's the main sort of RNG factor, if you like. It isn't technically RNG because they are programmed, but from the player's perspective, it is effectively RNG, and that's the major sort of factor in the game. And it's also the major factor that influences how fast you get to go. Because every time you crash into something, whether it be a car or a static obstacle, you obviously slow right down. It's not as bad crashing into a car as it is crashing into a static obstacle like a barrier or whatever.
lessons to learn in life as well.
Yep.
Maybe not. Maybe
crashing
not.
crashing into stuff is very, very bad. And you'll also see from this game, it's just as well that I don't drive, because I'm crashing into an awful lot of stuff. Right, okay, that's the first race done. What will happen now is, there we go, Mexico. Now, each race is a bit different. The track is different, and there is different sort of obstacles on it. So, Duck, maybe want to talk about this one?
Yeah, so some courses they'll be completely clear of obstacles, and the challenge will come from the track itself, the turns of the track. But many tracks have obstacles on them, for example rocks or barriers or other things like that. And it's just an extra challenge on the tracks. I think this is the one without obstacles. It's just a twisty track.
Yeah, this one has the one obstacle. Italy doesn't have any obstacles at all. The only track in easy, yeah, no problem. The only track in easy that doesn't have any obstacles, I think, is Iceland doesn't have any obstacles, but Italy doesn't have any obstacles. Mexico just has the one lane at the top of the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. There you go. Now this one's really good. If you look at my speed, you actually maintain speed as long as you don't hit something. Your speed basically stays the same. So on this track, I can get up some really, really high speeds. I'm going to see if I can get these guys out of my way. Now you'll have noticed that I've been lapping cars quite quickly. The little bars at the top left-hand corner, do you want to just explain what they indicate, Duck?
Yeah, so that's your current progress. Each sort of small rectangle is a lap. So this is telling you there's 5 laps. We're most of the way through the 3rd lap. And essentially, you use that to help you keep track of fuel, because fuel is a very important factor in this game. There's a pit stop at the start of each lap, or I guess it's the same pit stop, but you can go in there at the start of each lap to refuel. If you run out of fuel during a race, it's not good. Essentially, if you run out of fuel and stop, you retire from the race and the tournament. It's an instant game over.
Yeah. So the major thing that I need to watch out, the major thing with the run, if you like, from a speed perspective, is obviously try not to hit cars. I'm doing a terrible job of that so far. Try not to hit cars as much as possible, and fuel. Fuel is your major thing. Fuel can result, as Duck said, immediate game over. Hopefully that won't happen, but we will see. Now, would you explain why I just wrote off an incredibly expensive Lotus there, Duck?
Yep. So I'm not sure exactly how much time it saves, but if you can stop your car after crossing the finish line, it seems to progress to the next stage just that tiny bit quicker.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it saves a second, maybe. Haven't really worked it out, but the world record run does use that technique in every course.
It's a small improvement, but it's fun to do as well.
Yeah, it's actually quite difficult to do. I found it quite difficult. I never used to do it, of course, because obviously you wouldn't generally consider crashing your Lotus into the barrier at the end of the race. But yeah, you need to line it up correctly. So, right, so this is Iceland. This is the 3rd track out of 7. It's a longer track, and for the first time, as Duck mentioned before, we have fuel as a consideration here.
Yeah, so usually we get the fuel on the last lap. Because at the start of the race, all of the cars are bunched close together, and it's easier to overtake them. And so you use the intermediate laps to gain as much of a lead as you can, and then you can just pit at the end without having to worry about losing position and re-overtaking cars.
Yeah, what will happen here, hopefully, if all goes according to plan, is I will be in first place long before I have to get the fuel. And as I said before, what will happen is I will then start overtaking back markers. I'll start lapping cars. And the only issue with that is that, again, they just slow you down. If that didn't exist, this game would be an awful lot easier. So there's first place. Look, I'm just overtaking him. And what will happen now, maybe about a third of the way around the lap, I'll start encountering the last place cars. And as long as I can keep my speed up and not crash into them, I will start going past them fairly quickly. Let's just have a look. This is a good time for any donations or any messages, Agama, if you've got anything you want to say.
Great. Indeed, I have some. We've got $50 from Cheese Soda Punch. So hyped for the Amiga debut at ESA. Good luck, Tiny Tim. ESA, yeah.
Thank you so much indeed. That's really appreciated. Thank you for the donation. Right.
Yeah, it's like.
Sorry.
It's nice to see an Amiga run. For once. It's underrepresented at these events.
Okay, now then. Do you want to explain that? Well, you won't hear it, Doc, but we've now got the fuel indicator.
Yeah, so you'll be hearing.
Yep.
You'll be hearing a beeping, which is it's essentially the red bar from Pokemon, but in fuel form. It's telling you that you probably won't be able to make another lap, so you should refuel. It's a nice reminder to pit.
There we go. And obviously I don't pit all the way up. I don't need to. I only pit just as much fuel. I mean, again, if you're really optimizing, if you were really trying to go as fast as you absolutely possibly could, you would try and cut that as much as you could. But then, of course, you're running the risk of running out. So it's just there is a balancing act to be had there with the fuel. Come on, get out of my way. There we go. Right.
Yeah, especially in the marathon, it's always good to have that little bit of leeway.
Oh yeah, I mean, to be honest, this difficulty now isn't too bad. I've got the hang of this. But when I was practicing this, and we'll get to it later on, the last course in this difficulty is actually really quite tough. It's quite unpleasant. Right, I completely missed hitting the back of the post there, but never mind. Okay, so that's Iceland. So we're nearly just over halfway through, coming up halfway through now. This is Spain, which is the next course. Now this is a tricky course. This is a combination. I like to talk about the different types of courses. I like to say you've got your sort of basic courses which don't have any obstacles on them. So Italy and Iceland are good examples of those. Then you have sort of windy courses which are sort of, again, the same without any obstacles, but they're really tight corners. There isn't any real good examples in this difficulty of that sort of course. And then you have what I call the sort of combined courses, which is this course here, which has got sort of twisty turns and it's got obstacles. So I'm actually going to be quiet for a few seconds and let Duck talk, because I need to concentrate on this one, because this is the one that's could be the most difficult depending on how it goes.
Yeah, so I was thinking that one thing we haven't talked about is the fact that we're only playing on half the screen. So this is basically geared towards 2 players. 2 players can play through the entire tournament in any tournament, and as long as one player reaches the qualifying 10th place or better, both players can progress. I think it's much easier to play it with 2 players, but you've also got the competitive aspect of each player trying to beat the other one. When you're playing
carry on. Yeah, you carry on.
Okay, so when you're playing in single player, you will just have the second screen showing this lovely pair of mechanics doing who knows what.
Yeah, they're tweaking the car there. But no, this game in 2-player is absolutely fantastic. As I say, I played it growing up, and it is very competitive. I used to play it with my brother, I used to play it with my friends, and you can crash into each other, you can push each other off the track, you can push each other into the opponent cars. It's quite good fun. It's quite good fun. And I do hope at some stage to be able to run this as a 2-person run. It was originally going to be in a marathon earlier this year, but unfortunately due to the current situation, that ended up being cancelled, so I haven't had the chance to demonstrate it 2-player yet, but I would really love to do that. It would be amazing fun. Okay.
Do we need fuel on this track?
Yeah, that's the question. I think we'll say no. I hope. This is the problem with the fuel on this track, is sometimes you can run out of fuel on this track. It's possible to run out of fuel. I took a wee bit of a gamble there by not taking the fuel. As long as I don't crash, I should be okay. But we'll see. I may be very close at the end. So what may happen is it may actually flash out of fuel But as long as I cross the finish line before I slow down and stop totally, I'll be okay. Now, if I do run out of fuel, which does look like I'm going to, I do have a save state to sort it out if necessary. Look at that. Right, okay, that's not a bother. So all we'll do is we'll just fix that up. That's that one. No, wrong one. Okay. There we go. Right. Okay. So we continue anyway. Obviously, run would be invalid because I screwed it up. But hey, it happens. We're here to have fun. So, right. So I'll explain why that happened. Basically, because I didn't take fuel at the end, and the problem is with that track is it's a bit unpredictable. Sometimes you get away with it, and I thought I was going to get away with it there, but obviously not. So hey, it happens. Right. This is England. I don't know if you want to have a talk about this one, Duck. There's a couple of new features on this one.
Yeah, so we have oil slicks on this one, which I think they function the same as water when you have stages of water in, but essentially you can drive through them and they'll slow you down just a little bit, and they're very useful if you don't want to brake.
Yeah, the only slight difference between the oil slicks and water, I mean, yeah, that's totally correct, but the only thing is that the water just slows you down, whereas the oil slicks actually throw you around as well. So you hit an oil slick and it'll send you sideways. So you've just got to be a wee bit careful with them, especially on this course, because they've got them on areas where if I was to hit them, it would send you flying off the track. So this is probably one of the more difficult tracks in the easy difficulty, but nothing too bad. The reason we're playing on easy, by the way, as opposed to the harder difficulties, is purely for length. Because easy is 7 tracks, medium is 10 tracks, obviously harder, and then the hard difficulty is 15 tracks. And it's well over an hour for that one. And it's hard. I mean, I have beaten it, but it's a toughie. It's really quite tough.
Yeah, and one interesting thing to note is that they are all unique tracks. So it's 32 tracks in the game.
Yeah, totally, yeah. And the other thing, of course, is that you do have to basically remember the tracks to get really good or to get really fast. You need to remember the tracks. You need to actually learn. Oh dear, I just clipped the edge of the barrier there. You need to really learn the tracks. I mean, not so bad, obviously, on the easier difficulties, but some of the later tracks on hard, because I haven't really got there very often, because you don't play it, well, you don't get to those tracks because they're much further on. It makes those tracks harder until you learn them. Right, we've maybe got time for some more messages, if you've got them, Agama.
I'll gladly read out something. We've got $20 from Certainly Someone Here, 113. I woke up in time. Hooray! Good morning, good luck, and have an awesome lot of fun with your run, Tim. Cheers. Don't forget about the fuel, though. Donation goes to Runner's Choice.
Thank you, someone. Thank you so much. Really appreciated. Someone's absolutely fantastic, so thank you so much. And yeah, I did forget about the fuel. Oops. Oh well. And I bet not forget about the fuel here either. Let's just grab that. Ugh.
Do you have a Runner's Choice already? Just curious.
Sorry, what was that?
Do you have any donation incentive that you wanted to go towards?
Yeah, pop that towards. Can we put that towards the Super Mario run, please? We're needing quite a lot to get that incentive, folks. So if we can get those donations in for that, it would be absolutely fantastic. Right, okay, we're doing okay now. We're still not doing amazing, but let me just see if I can get through this last little bit here. Yeah. Oh, come on. Okay, I've got a little bit of time. There we go. There we go. Only going to be third. Only be third. Ah. Oh well, that's a shame. Never mind. Now, bearing in mind that doesn't affect the run. There is no requirement to win every race. It's nice, but there isn't a requirement to do it. Now, we are now on ESA home turf. We are on Sweden. Okay. And this is a particularly fun track as well. It's quite a tricky one, this. Any thoughts on this one, Doc?
No, not really.
Yeah, this is a tricky one with very tight turns, and then you've got this section here with the barriers, and there's a similar section just up here with barriers as well. So this is quite a tricky race, really.
Yeah, so you mentioned before there's no requirement for winning every race. The only requirement for the run is to finish in at least 10th on every race and win the tournament overall. But at the end of the tournament, you are giving a rating based on your score. So you can use this to judge basically how well you did.
Yeah, this hasn't been the best run so far, but hey. Okay, clipping those barriers there. There we go. And you may have noticed the collision detection on this game is a little suspect at times. Mainly probably due to the age. Now bearing in mind this game is literally 30 years old. So it holds up pretty well for its age. There was also a couple of sequels to this game as well that came out on the Amiga in the early 1990s. Both fairly similar to this. Oh, gotta be a bit careful there. Don't want to go flying into the barriers. There we go. It's looking good. Right. Excellent. Oh dear. Oh dear, dear, dear. Ah. Right. Okay. So nearly there now. Now we're not a million miles away off the end here. Now we've only got this last little part of this race. We've got half this race to go, and then we've got the final race. And the final race is a doozy. I will probably be fairly quiet during that one. My only concern with this run, and it does happen, is running out of fuel on Spain, which happened, which is hey, and not qualifying for China. Now, I did a practice run last night, and it was absolutely perfect, of course. Whereas today has been a little bit more challenging, but we will see. As long as China goes okay, then we're good. Right, okie dokie.
That's how marathons work sometimes, though.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
It's a little bit frustrating, but hey. My approach when it comes to speedrunning or to playing games is to have fun. It's just to enjoy it. You do it because you want to do it and you have fun with it. And go as fast as you can. And as long as you enjoy it, then that's what matters, really. Again, if you've got anything you want to say, Agama, I'm just going to come in for some fuel at the end of this lap. So if you've got anything, then please go ahead.
Gladly. We've got $15 from Tweety Jono, who ran the game just before this, if you remember. Learner Driver got me 3 times, so keeping my end of the deal. Thanks for having me, ESA, and good luck to Tiny Tim and all the other runners coming up. Please put this towards Bulbasaur taking Charmander's top spot. There's never enough Bulba love. And just to remind everyone, he's talking about the starter choice bid war that is currently going on for Pokemon Blue later in the day. And with that donation, Bulbasaur actually overtook Charmander and is now leading by $10. So if you want to see Bulbasaur or Charmander, get in those donations towards the bid war. And also, thank you a lot, Tweety Jono. That was a very fun run.
Yes, thank you very much indeed. A fantastic run, and a big shout out to everybody. Everybody who's running this event, and everybody, all the staff, all the organisers. It's just been an absolute fantastic time, and thank you to everybody who has donated. Alzheimer's is a very important cause to me personally, and it's fantastic to see all the money that's been raised. So thank you so much indeed. Okay, here we go. China time. Would you like to explain this one a little bit, Duck?
Yeah, so China's an incredibly difficult course. It's basically, it throws everything at you. It's the finale course of the easy tournament, and it's harder than most of the tracks in the medium tournament. So you can see we've got water on the track, we've got lots of twists. I think there's some barriers later on as well. It's really tough to get through, and the fact that it's a tight track with lots of cars as well just makes it impossible to actually get anywhere on.
Well, I don't want to jinx it, but that was a fantastic first lap. To be in 10th
Yeah,
in the first lap is very good.
Yeah, I just noticed that. It's very rare to get into 10th at the end of the first lap. Usually we're expecting 10th by the end of the race.
Yeah, I mean, though I have to say that with a bit of practice, I have been getting better on this race, and I've discovered a couple of wee tricks that help. Because this track is so twisty, using the water to actually slow yourself down is quite an interesting tactic. It's something that I've taken to doing. But notice there, I went up to 10th on the first lap there, and then I did a whole lap, and I only gained 1 position. So, as I say, this is a really tricky track. When I played this game when I was younger, when I first played it, this was the track I would literally win every other race up to this point, and then fail to qualify on this one. And that happened. Oh, that's terrible. That was really bad. Never mind. The reason that was so bad is because, as you can see, I'm now at an absolute crawl going up the hill, and I'm losing places now. So I'm just going to concentrate a wee bit here. See if we can get. This is still beatable from here. Well, it's beatable. I should qualify here, but it's whether or not I can win the race. So let's see if we can win the race. It would be rather good if we could.
Yeah, the game's perhaps a little bit too realistic in that if you're going uphill, it's very difficult to accelerate. Your acceleration is slashed massively. No. So if you crash on the hill, it's impossible to actually get going again.
That was a bit unfortunate. As you can see, the enemy sort of car AI is very, very tricky. As Duck said at the beginning, they swing back and forth across the track, and they'll do that pretty much the entire time. The only time they won't do it is if there's obstacles, and then they'll obviously restrict themselves to the open bit of track. But it doesn't make it any easier to get past them. Right, okay, now this is fine, but what's going to happen here, because I'm on the hill, he may overtake me again at the top of the hill here. It's possible. There we go. Right, let's just concentrate here. We've still got this, potentially. It's just...
I'm 100% sure they cheat. They seem to have more fuel than we can hold, and they seem to be better accelerating at hills as well. They're using non-regulated cars, I think.
Yeah, I would totally agree. They certainly cheat in terms of the fuel. Right, now speaking of fuel, we're not going to take any here, because I discovered very, very recently I always used to take fuel on this race, and it would always contribute to me losing, because it's a tough enough race without having to take fuel. But obviously I always had to take fuel, thinking, well, I'll run out of fuel. Oh dear. And you don't need to take fuel. You can actually get away without. And time is coming up fairly shortly. As soon as I cross the finish line here, it will be time. And time. Whew. Thank you very much indeed. That was fun.
Before you give it up, we still have some donations mentioning you that came in the last couple of minutes, so let me get through this quick.
Oh, thank you so much.
We've got $5 from Big the Dave saying, "It's Tim time! This goes to the Super Jump Man 64 bonus run." We've got another $5 from Richard Plays Stuff. "Hey folks, just donating what I can. Shoutouts to ESA for all their amazing work, and Tiny Tim for always putting a smile up on my face." Both of those obviously go to the bonus Super Mario run. And then we got $20 from Ardric224. "Finally, I can donate during a Tiny Tim speedrun. Thank you all for the support you've given to me, ESA, and the speedrunning community over the years." Thank you all for your donations.
Thank you so much, everyone. And for very quickly, Agama, just to say a big thank you again to everyone. Thank you very much, Duck, my friend, for commentating.
Yeah, no problem.
It was a pleasure. Please, if you've enjoyed what you've seen, folks, please drop me a wee follow. I don't stream particularly often. I stream sort of semi-irregularly, but I do all sorts of different fun sort of retro stuff. I've got a few speedruns that I'm planning on working on, some 8-bit stuff, some 16-bit stuff, so feel free to drop by and say hello. But thank you so much again. Big thank you to ESA for everything. Being a part of the event to run, this is my first run at ESA, is an absolute honour and a privilege. So thank you so much indeed. Yep, thank you to everybody. I'll go away now and let this carry on. Enjoy the rest of the marathon. Thanks again. Cheers.